Good morning. It's 8:15. It's your Thursday, October 12th. The gang's all here.
Yeah.
Full house.
Well, Megan's off today, but otherwise.
Uncle Joey.
Okay, and I'm, I don't know who I am.
Saget.
Rob is
Saget.
also off, and I'm filling in for him.
I was the oft-forgotten daughter. I can't remember her name. Who was I?
Kimmy?
Yeah, I was
Kimmy
Kimmy's
Gibbler.
the neighbor.
Yeah.
Kimmy the
Google
neighbor.
it. It's our promo looking like Full House.
Yeah, look at it. So Extra Shot's going to be a little bit different today. Already it's off to a great start. But we're talking a lot
Debatable.
about the fires. And we know so many of you watching in Northern California have concerns and questions this morning. So we want to go through the updates with you. We also want you to post any of the questions you have in the comments. We've got web team right now looking at all of the different things that you are concerned about, and we'll try to answer them throughout the morning. But we know that there are still thousands of acres burning in California. The winds are going to be a story, Michelle. Red flag warning today. And of course, we're also going to be talking about insurance, Walt, because people may not know what is covered under their policy. But first, Marcus Allen, you had an opportunity yesterday to hang out with a lot of our local firefighters at a premiere of a movie. So why don't we start there?
Yeah, let's talk about how surreal this is. That months ago, I planned this with Sony Pictures to have a screening of the movie based on this book. The book is called Granite Mountain. It's written by the lone survivor, Brendan McDonough, of the Granite Mountain Hotshots disaster. 3 years ago, all but he perished in a fire. We had planned months ago to have this firefighter screening to honor first responders and to honor firefighters, CAL FIRE and SAC FIRE locally. And guess what? Lo and behold, in the middle of this screening, half of our audience was getting called out to participate in fighting the fire that's taking place just, 45 miles away.
That's surreal.
And you could see the look on their face. We all had the same look. Like, can this really be happening while we're talking about a movie, a dramatization of a very real fire? The same thing is happening under our nose, and I caught up with someone from SAC FIRE 522 to talk about it. Take a look.
Even today, my son can't, he can't even see the trailer right now. It's a hard story because it was so close to his heart. He will go and see it, but it's a tough one. It really is, especially with what's going on in Napa and Sonoma County and all that. It's a really good evening, actually, but it's a tough one.
It's a great moment to celebrate these people and just, history being made when only 45 minutes away from here, this exact thing is taking place.
Yeah, when we're smelling the smoke of the same exact thing.
Smoke wafting up, and I should have prefaced that by saying that guy and his son grew up in Prescott. They were friends with these guys that perished in the fire, and you were saying this is a movie that you would probably go see.
Yeah, I think that anything for me, I don't know about you guys, based on a true story is always fascinating. And this, I'm just so shocked. The one survivor wrote the story so quickly after this. I remember covering this just 3 years ago. So to be involved in the reporting of what was happening and then to see how quickly it turned into a book then movie, I'm very interested.
Well, one thing that you will see in the story, you said, am I going to cry the whole time?
Yeah.
No, in fact, Walt, you've been around a lot of law enforcement. Walt, all of us have been around law enforcement and firefighters, and even in our own newsroom, it's really about the camaraderie. What we go through day to day out, it isn't that trying or serious, and even when things are serious, like we're so sad right now, each and every one of us, when we sat down on these couches, we're sad about what's taking place, but we sit down, we start joking, you're doing anything to try to lighten the mood to an otherwise devastating situation, and that's what this movie's about.
These hot shots are equivalent to SWAT team or Navy SEALs. They are the best of the best. And they got caught in a situation which is, they were doing everything that they were trained to do, yet this fire was so immense, it was like a tornado, literally, that most of them died. And I would assume the firefighter who survived probably wanted to tell that tale. That this was nothing that they could do. Plus to honor his comrades who died. I mean, that's got to be the reason, to Dina's point, this was written quickly while it was still fresh in the lone survivor. And I'm sure he feels guilt too.
I'm glad you brought that up because he joins us in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll be talking to Brendan, and that's exactly the point he makes, that it's really just to celebrate. And he said something that you would think odd about a movie like this. He said, it just made me happy to remember the good times. Yeah. Well, we're all thinking about, of course, the devastating moment, but the good times that floats to the top, the memories that float to the top for him are the friendships that he developed along the way.
Understandable.
Wow.
And another story that comes out of this that's hugely unique is that this was the very first municipally run elite group like the Hotshots. Before then, any kind of team of this caliber wore Office of Emergency Services. So the story is unique in that way.
Wow.
So Granite Mountain's the book, and the movie is Only the Brave, correct?
That's right.
And how similar are they?
Brendan said, you know, they may as well have done the shot sheet for the movie based on the book.
Okay.
Nothing is changed
That's
whatsoever.
good and unusual that it's that way. Usually the movies are to try to a bigger sell to a bigger audience, and you put some stuff in, some explosions, but you probably don't need to add anything based on what they went through.
You know, you've seen movies that are dramatizations, and then at the end of the movie they show the real person, a slide of the real person, and you go, oh wow, that person looks nothing like Brad Pitt, who may have played them in the movie. In this movie, they do this wild, almost living photo-esque thing where they have the actor from the movie and it morphs into the photo of the person that they play.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
There's not a tremendous amount of morphing that takes place. It is one of the most well-cast dramatizations I've ever seen.
All right, well, go check it out now in a movie theater. Support your local firefighters.
Opens next week,
All right, thank you very much, Mark.
Sure.
A lot of people are saying no questions. Just wanted to say my hearts and prayers with everyone affected. Kimberly Morgan, thank you. And we know so many people have been affected by this. And so let's talk about what's happening today with the fires. We know that the wind is going to be another story. That's really what sparked all these fires in Northern California on Sunday night, is all that wind carrying flames so quickly. So what is our situation today, Michelle?
Okay, so we have another red flag warning. What does that mean? It means that the winds are going to be gusty, the air quality is going to, or the air in the sky is going to be very dry, and when you combine that with all the dry fuels, it really make it very easy for fires to occur. So that's what's happening. But I want to talk about the air quality right now. So the winds, not going to help the firefight, but it did move a lot of the smoke out of the area. So this is from the last hour. It looks like a lot of the smoke has started to make its way out. So across the valley from Yuba City all the way down to Modesto, even as far west to Vacaville, the air quality is pretty good. We're looking at areas off to the Jackson area, so in the foothills. It's actually unhealthy for sensitive groups. And of course, in the Bay Area, it's red. You can tell that that's what's going to be later today. And it's one of those days where if you don't have to go to the area, try not to do so, because it's going to be smoky. It's not going to be one of those things where you want to be outside. Now, here are the winds right now blowing in from the north and northwest across the Sacramento Valley, up to about 15 miles per hour. They could be gusty, anywhere between 30 to 40 later today. So that's why we have that red flag warning. So just again, it's one of those days where if you don't have to be outside, stay inside, because the air quality is not going to be as good. And we're also looking at a red flag warning today, and then a fire weather watch that starts late tomorrow throughout the day on Saturday.
Now, just to be clear too, because we have a lot of people watching who don't live in California. So when Michelle says it's smoky, imagine going to a campsite, sitting right next to the campfire and smelling that smell, but times that by 10 or 20.
Because
it's all night. It's that thick all night, all day, to the point where Carlos, who is one of the anchors and reporters here, was out live in the field, and as soon as he came back, you can smell the smoke from his clothes walking through the newsroom.
You can smell him before you can see him.
You can smell him before you see him. It was that strong.
I texted him yesterday just to see how he was doing, and he's like, I went home and I took 3 showers. Because it's one of those things where it's in your hair, it's in your clothes, and it's still there. So it's basically like throw your clothes into the wash.
You know, yesterday in Vacaville, I know in the map you were showing, the smoke kind of moved to the Bay Area and then into the foothills. Unfortunately, that's now where the brunt of the smoke is. But in the Vacaville area, the air quality was better. I walked into my house and it was like smoke inside. So all that smoke came in through, you know, all of our windows were closed, but all the little cracks and crevices, it comes in and then it just sits there. And for people who are sensitive to, you know, air quality like this, please put the windows up, don't roll them down in the car, stay inside if you can, because as the winds shift, that smoke that you were talking about, Cornelia, is just going to continue to kind of nestle in different communities for the next couple of days.
It's going to be a while until the fires are out.
Yeah, until we start getting rain. I mean, this is the start of the fall fire season, which starts in October now, runs through December. But I think the long ranges, or maybe Halloween, or you were talking about something a little sooner,
so
which would really help.
Fingers crossed next Thursday that we have some chances for rain. But again, that's a week out. So
and then, you know,
hold together.
When there's rain, come thunderstorms. And so that's a whole other,
with lightning.
Yes, that's a whole other concern for firefighters. So certainly the moisture is going to help so that the air is not so dry, but other things you got to worry about. Speaking of worrying, 3,500 homes and structures have been lost. 23 people have been confirmed killed. Almost 300 people are still missing this morning. More than 170,000 acres have burned in California so far.
Wow.
That was as of yesterday. So overnight, you can imagine those things have changed. But for all of those who are in the fire's path, or maybe you just are now getting, you know, thoughts in your head going, what would my insurance cover? What would be covered in my home if I should become a victim of this? And actually last night, because the smoke is very close to us in Vacaville, I was a little worried, called my insurance company and said, what is covered under my policy? And I found out that most people's policies will probably have some sort of fire coverage for the actual structure of your home. There is another amount, though, for the items on the inside walls, and not everyone's policy is the same.
Well, you need to look at it, and it's funny because I just keep the one sheet, which shows who I can contact and general stuff. It's like, I'll deal with that when I need to deal with that, if I need to deal with that. And you were in a situation, I guess, yesterday where you were thinking, I'm going to be proactive in case, you know, let me at least establish a contact and all that. So your coverage generally involves your home, the contents of your home. It covers theft and fire, does not cover flood, and then it does not cover an outside dwelling, such as maybe your garage or a shed in the back or something like that would not be covered under most policies, just your immediate dwelling. So the best thing you can do is, if you feel you're in harm's way or for any reason, which every insurance agent hopes we do, if you're a renter or if you're a homeowner, is just get your camera, your cell phone, and walk around your house and take video of your closets, your clothes, your couches, and give a play-by-play as you go along. Here's my couch. I paid about $500 for that. And as a piano, I don't know what we paid. Here's the label on it. And you go walk. It could take you 5 minutes. And that's all your insurance agent will need in the event that either theft or fire. You need to document what you have so you can replace that. You can't just go, oh my gosh, I had a couch, I don't know where I got it, and take video of your jewelry. You know, if you're thieved, you know, your insurance company wants to, and it's like, oh, okay, so you got that, you're not lying, a Rolex or whatever it is. So it takes 5 minutes. Just do that. Even those of us who are not in the line of fire right now, do that.
And that's good to do in any disaster, right? Because we just saw hurricanes tear through
earthquakes,
southern states, earthquakes. So just that's just a handy tip. Take your cell phone camera, if you have a point and shoot camera, any type of thing that can document footage, and do that, because it's good to have anyway.
Yeah, I know we were talking about it earlier, and you and Dina were talking about it, and you guys said upload it, because it's not any good if it's on your phone and your phone gets lost somewhere or even stolen.
Right, and that's what I was going to mention. You know, if you are going to be taking these videos and pictures, which hopefully now you're inspired to do it, upload that footage somewhere and maybe email it to a relative. Put it in a Dropbox folder. Put it somewhere that you can access if, in the instance, you don't get to go back to your house to gather the hard drives, to gather the memory cards, the computers.
A safe.
It's somewhere else.
A fireproof safe that you keep in your home.
Right.
Or I was told a while ago, all right, get a safety deposit box at the bank with some documents with your kids or social security cards or documents that you really need to keep. Put them in a small box at the bank, because that's your ultimate safety spot.
Yeah, and those fire safety vaults that you can get, we actually have one at our house, but they're only rated to a certain degree and for a certain amount of time. So check on that, because what we were looking at with ours is it's only up to a certain amount of heat, and then also for a certain amount of time. And so if a fire is brewing in your home for multiple hours, that may or may not do what you are hoping it will. So in the event of a fire, in the event of a natural disaster or anything, the best rule of thumb is always to just make sure you have backup copies of things. Make sure that you're taking the initiative to take those videos and send them to somebody or somewhere else so that they're stored.
Okay, we're getting a few questions on Facebook. Anise Banks wants to know, where do you drop off donations in Sacramento? Do you guys know any of those answers?
Well, I know today there is a new evacuation center opening at Cal Expo. The Red Cross and the Salvation Army are really the two big entities right now that are working with these victims. And so the best way to do this is contact them directly. They will tell you they have food, they have water, they have clothes, but there still might be little things like animal food, you know, for the dogs and cats. Or maybe, I know when I was at an evacuation center earlier this week in Sonoma Community College, or Solana Community College rather, they needed earplugs because people were trying to sleep and a lot of conversations were happening. They just wanted some hot coffee. But check with the Salvation Army and Red Cross if you have something you want to donate, because they'll help you, you know, divvy up where that needs to go.
I think clothes is probably the biggest thing, because we're looking at the immediacy of what's happened. People have been out of their homes for maybe a week, but what will they need in a month or 2 months? Because if you see the Santa Rosa pictures especially, whole neighborhoods are flattened, still smoldering. What are those people, where do they go? How do they get back to their jobs and schools? Where are their jobs and schools? You know, what are they going to need, not just this week? Because it seems like there's a lot of food coming in. We saw a story that Francis did last night where there's a lot of food. But what happens, you know, a week from now, 2 weeks from now? Where are all the people who were in Houston or in Florida? You know, they're still completely out, yet everybody's attention has moved on to the latest disaster. So what do they need going forward?
On something simple as toiletries.
Yep.
A lot of times,
Absolutely.
toiletries, feminine hygiene products. You know, you don't think about the immediate need.
Diapers,
Baby
formula.
wipes, formula.
It's all evergreen stuff.
Yep, evergreen stuff that anybody would need at any time.
Right. Check with your insurance company, because I was on the phone with our insurance company for 30 minutes. Reporter me, I was like asking every possible question I could think of. If it is a situation where you're put outside of your home for several weeks or months, or you have to rebuild, you also should check to see if there is some sort of a sum that you can use while you're in the process of being outside of your home. Hotel costs, gas costs for your vehicle, food costs, things that you need for school for your children. I mean, there are policies that will include, but you have to check what yours is if you have it, money for you to survive if you cannot get back to your home, whether or not you're still evacuated, if it's burned or been damaged, or you just have to be out for a couple of weeks. So double check with your insurance companies on that too.
Okay, we have another question, and this is from Angel Kid Alexis, and she's coming from the Vacaville area. She wants to know the concern of what should she do? What should she be doing, especially over the next couple of days? I know you live in Vacaville, Dina, so what are you actually doing to prepare, just in case?
Yeah, the Vacaville Fire Department actually put up a post on Facebook last night saying that while it was so smoky in that area, there was not a major threat of fire actually crossing into the Vacaville city limits. It is in Fairfield now, we know, up in the Green Valley area. Twin Sisters Road was hit. 2 structures were lost there, according to Solano County Sheriff's deputies. But in Vacaville right now, they're saying not to worry at this point. If it turns into a situation where the winds start to carry things, we will get alerts from the different jurisdictions. But the best thing that I can recommend for anyone is that text message system, Nexel.
Yeah, you showed that.
I showed it the other day, and it's so easy. All you have to do is text 888-777. So that would be the number you send the text to, 888-777. Then in the subject line of the text message, you just write which zip code you're in. So in my case, 94533, I put it in the subject line, hit send. I'm getting updates as soon as they come in now.
Right now.
Do it now, Michelle, so we can show how fast and easy it is.
888-777, and then my zip code.
Your zip code in the subject line. And the great thing about this is different jurisdictions. I've been seeing updates from the Fairfield Police Department and also the Solano County Sheriff's Department, and even the city of Fairfield come in through that system. So all the different jurisdictions are talking to each other, and that's kind of a streamlined way to get information if that's something that you're concerned about.
And you'll only get the information that pertains to where you live.
Whatever zip code you put in.
Right.
So let's say you have family members in Northern, say you're watching us from Alaska this morning and you have family members who are in Fairfield and Green Valley. I had somebody reach out to me about that. If you know their zip code, get their zip code and type in 888-777 to their zip code. You'll get the alerts for where they live. So if you have elderly folks who are in the area and you just don't know what's going on with their house and what's happening in their communities, that's a great way to keep track of the alerts coming in.
Good to know.
So Michelle, text 888-777 with her zip code, and then you got a message.
I got
response.
2 messages. You can ask for English or Spanish, and then it will actually put my zip code in here, and it of course says, you know, if you are doing these text messages, data rates do apply.
Yes.
But I live in Sacramento, so as of right now, there are no incidents or anything like that, or even alerts right now.
And it's updating you even if there isn't a huge update. I got one today that said, hey, no major changes have happened, but here is a phone number now for people to call if you want more info. So they are trying to provide resources, giving you evacuation information through those text messages. But yes, data rates apply, so maybe when you know the natural disaster has ended, you might want to press cancel or stop and then bring it back again in the future if you don't have unlimited data.
I think that's cool that they will send you an update saying there's no update.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly thinking, whoa, there hasn't been an update for a while. I wonder if something's going on. And they're basically saying status quo, which I think is comforting.
Yeah, for sure.
Kimberly just did it, and she said, okay, got it, thank you.
Oh, good.
Good.
So,
Good.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's a really good resource, I'm telling you. Cornelia, I know we've been talking about road closures, things that are, you know, impacting communities when there's a road block. heeding the warnings, right? All these different sheriff's departments are going through, making sure people aren't looting, just trying to protect the homes.
It's just trying to protect the homes. And again, if you are in those areas, it's better to evacuate if there is a mandatory evacuation, because we've been seeing a lot of people are volunteering to stay in areas that is not the case. However, in certain cases, and this is in all disasters, the longer you wait, the harder it is to get out, because you're not usually the only one waiting to the last minute or just trying to see how things play out. So we'll be tracking the roads throughout the day, and if anything comes up where there's an urgent situation or something is shut down on top of what is already closed, we'll let you know. But as of right now, areas because of Atlas Fire, because of the Patrick Fire, Cascade, and Tubbs, and the other fires, because right now they're up to 22 in total.
In Northern California.
So each area has been impacted with closures, evacuations, whether they be mandatory or voluntary. So we're keeping track of the local ones, and we'll keep you guys updated.
There's also a really cool interactive map. I put it on my Facebook page, but I know our website also has it, abc10.com. I'll show you here. It might be kind of difficult to see, but this is a great way to, I know we've had a lot of people asking us, Mason, if we can come in here. Basically, where is the fire right now? Where is the fire line? Where's the perimeter? So on this, you can actually, on a tablet, zoom in this way. If you have a computer with a mouse, you can scroll around too and make it bigger or smaller. But like in this area here, this is showing the fire's edge. You can zoom in so close to see an actual street sign and the roads. And so I can see which road this is. And that's really helpful for people who are wondering, you know, if it's on my exact street, which location is it? So I can see here, this is Chalfant Road. You can see up to the actual road of where the fire line is. Some of these are also just the perimeter lines of the fire, but this is a great way to also see what's happening where you specifically live, because there's so many fires we're trying to cover today. So
you being in Vacaville, and obviously, and I think Michelle and Cornelia asked you this, are you starting to sweat this?
I will tell you that 2 nights ago I was.
Okay.
The smoke was so bad 2 nights ago, and there was a piece that was floating in the air of ash that was this big. And I thought, why is that so big? How close is this fire?
Right.
And I know a lot of my neighbors and a lot of people have reached out to me on social media too, because when the smoke gets that bad and it's hard to see, that also means that the aircraft who are trying to go out and fight these flames either cannot fly or have to wait for a pocket to be able to do it. And so it was making me a little nervous. I saw some of the aircraft coming up and over yesterday when it cleared a little. But for all of us who are in Vacaville, who are just, for perspective here, Napa County is just to the northwest of Vacaville. We are down and then a ridge line away. And
so how far miles wide are you from the far edge of this?
So from the far edge of the latest evacuation, 8 miles as the crow flies.
8 miles
with
from
my
you.
House.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll continue to monitor it. I had my neighbor yesterday text me saying, when the fire hits X location, we're out. So and she has a husband who is a sheriff's deputy in Solano County. So she said, when we know that it gets to this area, that's our plan to leave. They have children, so they're not going to waste any time. So I would suggest for all of you, if you have a zone around you that you know is maybe a section of a dry ridge or a valley that you know fire could travel quickly through, a dry riverbed, when it hits a certain spot, I would say don't necessarily wait to be told you have to evacuate. Just get a ready-to-go bag. Start thinking about it. Make sure that maybe all the personal belongings that you need and medications are ready. Because yesterday, as we saw, within 3 hours, it went from this community is not yet under a mandatory or advisory evacuation to get out in 10 minutes. In 3 hours, that shifted.
I think a lot of people Sunday night when this thing first broke, there were a lot of people who had no warning and they were running into their homes to try to save a family member or to get stuff out as flames were all over. So those people, the initial people, they were the ones who, you know, and that's the missing people, and most of the dead people are from that initial whole thing. So 8 miles away from where you live, for you, mileage-wise, would you say 4 miles if it gets to that? Or if it's just steadily coming your way, and Michelle is like the winds are totally blowing your way, what's your personal to get out?
I think for me personally, I would probably say, because it's a huge ridge line, my husband's like, there's a huge mountain in between us, it's fine. But in my opinion, I'm looking at it like, look at all that dry fuel. Look at all of the opportunities for these flames to catch treetop to treetop.
And it moves fast.
It moves fast. So
based on the wind too.
Yes.
If the wind picks up, then all bets are off.
I would say if the community right down the hill from me, which is maybe 3 miles as the crow flies over the ridgeline, if they start to get evacuation orders, I'm going to get ready.
You're going to be proactive. You want to get out a day early? Would you
maybe.
be? Yeah.
I mean, I think, for the most part, what's the point of waiting? Your job can wait. The people in your life, the people you care the most about, your pets, the things that you really need, that's all. We have seen so many stories of people losing everything. One couple found a lemon at their property. The whole house burned down, but there was one lemon. And the reporter team went with them back to their house, and the man picks up the lemon and goes, "We can put lemons in our drinks tonight?" to his wife.
Yeah.
Because they said, as long as we have each other, right? So why wait? Why wait until it gets too difficult? Is my opinion.
Insurance will replace your home, but it's the photos. Everybody talks about the photos, the photo albums, a couple of mementos, and
the memories.
the bed sheets, the house.
I will tell
could
you though, when
rebuild
I was
that.
on the phone with my insurance agent and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, what would I grab? Like, it is overwhelming.
Grab yourself, girl, and get
Right.
out. Grab
Right.
your passport.
Yep.
Grab your social security card,
Passport,
your
good
documents.
point. Your important documents.
Grab all
yes.
your
Know where
important
your
documents. Any files that you have.
important documents.
And then your medications, maybe a couple of outfits, some clothes, water, food.
Contacts.
Contacts,
If you wear
and
contacts.
leave.
Yeah.
Okay, just 2 more questions. Carlos wants to know, where is that map located online, and can you tell us about the Nexel information once again?
Yes. Okay. So the map, go to abc10.com or my Facebook page. It's right at the top of one of the stories I just posted. So Dina Kupfer, DINAKUPFER, and you can click it there, and then you can start playing around with it. The Nexel information, 888-777. That's what, as if you were texting your mom or your dad. So it says, who do you want to text to? Right at the top, the number 2 is 888-777. Subject line is where you would type in your zip code or the zip code of the community that you're interested in knowing more about. If you have elderly parents or someone who you know and care about who's in a situation, you can put their zip code into. I also am just seeing an update on the Atlas fire as of 8:20. CAL FIRE says that it is now 43,762 acres, 3% contained.
Still, it's been 3% for a while.
Yep.
Wow.
And they're basically battling now the winds there and some uneven, dry terrain. So this is going to be a story of where is it going to go to next? And we kind of don't know yet.
Well, I think a lot of people are wondering, why is it not contained? Why is that 3% still 3%? Right now, they're just trying to get people out. They're trying to rescue people. So if that number doesn't go up, it's because they're trying to make sure all these people are taken out of their homes into a safer place.
Yeah. And when we talk about containment, by the way, in case you didn't know exactly what that term means, because we talk about it so often, containment is literally the line around the fire. So when we're talking about it being 3% contained, that means that they have to make a perimeter around the fire line to try to stop the forward progression, right? So they'll go through and bulldoze. They will use DC-10s with their fire retardant.
They were all flying over the station. Helicopters and air tankers. It was just air traffic over Sacramento, all headed that way.
Yep. And as our photographer Mason said, no drones, please. Don't get in the way. And they'll also use the helicopters with the water drops. The air quality stops them from being able to do retardant drops sometimes because they can't see where the line is that they're drawing.
It's too smoky.
Exactly. So that's where the bulldozers on the ground come in. But the perimeter is what they're actually, the line they're drawing around the fire. Once they have the line around it, it can be 100% contained, but then they have to go in and control it. Put out all the flames, put out all the hot spots, make sure there's no more fuel that can burn. Then it's not considered out until 48 hours after the last hot spot has been put out.
Yeah, this is not an atypical fire situation for the autumn fire season. Most of these that happen in October are major events that last for multiple days. And why is that? Michelle knows well, because it's the driest that we can be since the last rain, just before the new rain comes of the rainy season. So everything is maximum dry right now. So there's so much fuel, and we had so much rain last year, which caused tremendous amount of growth and more trees and weeds and more fuel. So although last rainy season was awesome to fix our drought situation, it has created what we're dealing with right now, which is a lot of dry stuff that's burning a lot.
Yeah. Well, we know that a lot of you still have questions. Keep them coming. We're all kind of going through individually, helping to answer. We're going to have another newscast at 9 a.m. where our producers are working hard to get the latest facts and figures for you on all those fires. But again, our website, we've got that interactive map. use the text message alert system and keep it here on our Facebook page, and we'll continue to update you on weather conditions and other evacuation information as we get it.
Indeed.
All right, thanks everybody for being with us this morning. Stay safe. Thank you to the firefighters, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning right here at 8:15 on ABC.